Hi guys, it's Blackie. Welcome back to Mastering Campfire Cooking, and we're back on skillet. Today we're going to be doing that bacon that we've been talking about. Now, we're going to be using the Pathfinder skillet for this, that carbon steel one, and we're going to talk about the materials for just a second. Here's what I'm using to do this. I've got me a cheap little pair of them $1.99 tongs from Walmart. Okay, something to pick up my bacon. I've got my carbon steel skillet. I've got a bowl to put my stuff into, and I've got my bacon. Now the bacon, we're used to those long strips of bacon. That's laying them out on a grill or something like that, or a griddle, and putting weight on them and holding them flat. That makes a nice long flat piece that can't draw up. But for in the field, it doesn't work very well. One, because the size of my skillet is limited. If I have a piece of bacon going all the way across, it comes up the side, the middle is burnt before the ends get cooked. So cut your bacon into smaller pieces. I take the entire packet of bacon and I start at one end and I roll it up real tight. Then I unroll it and I flip it around and I roll it up real tight from the other way. Why? That causes them layers, as I roll it, they pull and break loose. They've been stuck together. It makes it easier for me to pull those strips of bacon off when I'm trying to fry a lot of bacon for, say, I'm cooking a whole pound for the whole camp right quick. I want to pull them off and not have to sit there and by hand pull each two apart. I want to be able to grab one and pick it up with just 2 fingers and put it in the pot, right? Next, I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut it into thirds. So that entire strip of bacon, I'm going to cut it into 2/3. 2 cuts makes 3 pieces, thirds. This is the center third out of my bacon that I made BLTs out of yesterday, where I got some, wife got some, and I saved some to come cook for you guys. Now, let's talk about material. If you don't have a carbon steel skillet, maybe you've got an aluminum skillet or a stainless steel skillet or whatever, you may want to do this technique. Now, I don't need to do it for this carbon steel, but we're going to talk about it as if it was another type of steel, because I want you to know the universal way to do this. Add a little bit of water to the skillet, just a little, just enough to cover the very bottom, and then heat it up. When the water goes to boiling good and hard, that's when you want to put the bacon in. Why? Because certain materials, aluminum and others, when I put that bacon into it, it's just going to stick. And remember that first, second degree burn we talked about, how it would draw up? That makes it adhere to the metal, and you got a hard stuck thing that doesn't want to flip, doesn't want to turn. You're in hot grease. You don't want to sling grease everywhere trying to make this thing let go. It becomes a problem. But if I put water in the bottom of it to begin with, it doesn't stick to the bottom. That's first advantage. Second advantage, it's already at 212 degrees whenever I lay that bacon in there. Third advantage, it washes the grease out of the bacon, and as that water evaporates, I'm not going to add any more water, that water will fairly quickly boil away, leaving the grease that comes out of the bacon. And so now I'm frying the bacon in grease. So I pull that grease out of and wash it off of the bacon. And then I quickly transfer it into the pan that way, and I get a layer of oil as that water evaporates out. Plus the spitting and spattering is less, because that's water in the bacon coming out and expanding. Poof, 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 and that slings grease everywhere. And that gets your arm, gets all the other stuff greasy. It's better to do it this way, and it'll be a lot simpler. Okay? Let me shift the camera and we'll get going. Okay, we're going to light our Trangia. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to just set the lid on a little loose, slosh it one time, set it in and open it up. Now what that's going to do is it's going to slosh all over it fuel. Now whenever we hit it like that, it catches and it gets going right now. Now we're going to set our windscreen on top of it. Turn it just a little. There we go. So it's locked in place. Now we're going to take, lock our skillet, set our skillet up there and let it start heating up. And then we're going to take and add just a little bit of water. That's plenty. Actually, that's probably too much. right there, to be honest. Dampen that down just a little bit. A little bit more. There. I just want a little bit of water in that pan. That's it. Let that go until it gets good and hot. And then I'll be back with you whenever that starts boiling, because then I know that pan's good and hot. Okay, you can see our water is good and boiling. Now we're going to add our bacon. We're going to take our bacon and we're going to put it going away from us. You never want to lay it down. Starting on the far side, like this. You don't want to splash grease or hot whatever back toward you. And that water is acting like a heat indicator. So we got good heat. We know we're good and hot before we ever add that bacon. And as you can see, the water evaporated out. Now on the aluminum skillet, I'd have had more water in there because I'd want that water to act as a cushion to keep this from sticking. The carbon ain't going to be a big deal. Put it in, lay it flat. Now notice, by going with these short sections, it lays flat in the pan. And I can move it around a little easier. Just like that. Now, how do I know if it's too hot? I'm smelling. I'm waiting. If I start smelling burning, if I start seeing black or crust. Now here initially it being really, really hot on that surface, and this is wide open because it's one speed on this Trangia unless I put the dampener down in it. I've got a good hot skillet and it's searing. Now that first degree, second degree burn we talk about, that's what we're doing right now. We're searing it on that side. I'm going to take my pieces now and begin to flip. Trying not to roll them up. Shorter pieces do better than the long because those long fibers want to roll up and therefore break contact. You see? Right in the middle of that pan is really hot right here. So I want to root off that to the side and bring one of these or two of these from the edge that had not gotten it, the heat, back in here. Move everything around. Well, I said I wasn't going to add any water, but I think I am going to add just a touch. Now you don't want to add water to grease, you know that. Now see that dark color? That is the grease coming out of that bacon. And where before it would just burn to the bottom, now it's not. Now it's actually coming up and cooking. That water is that steam coming off, is that water evaporating. But as it is, it's also getting that grease off that bacon. And that's what I'm actually frying in, is the grease. It also dampens down my temperature because what's the maximum temperature you can have in water? 212. So it lets it slow cook without having to burn it. Now that looks a little more rawish right there to me. This one right here is getting really good. So I'm going to move it to the side and I'm going to put that one and that piece right there into the hot spot. This is now my hot spot directly over the heat. And so I want to pull to the side things that are not. Now that piece right there that overcooked a little, no big deal. I'll push it up on the side right there to limit the amount of heat that's in it. And also, by doing this, getting all that good off the bottom. Now the water's about to evaporate, and we're about to be done anyway. How do you like your bacon? Do you like it cooked really, really crispy or not quite as crispy? This will require practice at home to get it like you want. Look how simple that is, how easy. I ain't got spitting and spattering going everywhere. And the water's just about gone, and I'm just about done now. Look at that. Nice, beautiful golden bacon. I don't see any that's not fully cooked anywhere in the pan. Just like that. And look how they lay flat. I get full strips of bacon, something that's easy to put on the BLTs or something like that. And I don't have all curled up mess. Alright, now I'm going to take it off heat. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put it into my pan. Just like that. Now to clean this up, I want to get rid of this bacon grease. I could save it and utilize it for something else. I'll set it down and I'm going to add water to that. Away from me in case it splatters. I'm going to deglaze this pan right now. As long as I got this heat going. Deglaze this pan, make it easier to clean. It's going to wipe right out, I know. But where this stuff, this bacon and all that grease, adhered to the bottom a little bit because of it. The beauty of this pan is I add just a little bit of heat and a little bit of water, and it'll come right off the bottom. I would do this just like this if I was using aluminum or if I was using stainless steel or whatever. But you need to practice this at home. Again, cut your bacon into thirds. Add a little bit of water to it. If it starts burning, lift it up off the heat. Keep it where it's working exactly like you want it. Alrighty. And yes, this is how you'd make bacon gravy. Is that boiling going on in there now? Add a little bit of flour and a few other little pinches in that, and we'd have red-eye gravy with a little coffee. So, bacon. Nice, clean, well-cooked, golden, crispy bacon. All ready to go. No big fuss, no big muss. To review, take your bacon and go ahead and roll it up in the package. Like when you're ready to cook, take it, go ahead and roll it both ways. Roll it up like you're rolling up a newspaper, and that will break the layers loose. Then I take my knife and just cut the whole package into thirds. And I take my third that I'm planning on cooking right now, if it's for sandwiches or whatever, or for breakfast. A third is normally enough for a quick breakfast like this. That's one good serving of bacon for a person. And then I lay it into the pan. I put a little water in that pan first to make sure it's good and hot. When I see it boiling hard, I know I'm at 212 degrees. I then add in the bacon. If that starts to stick, if it starts to get a little bit clingy, add a little bit of water to it. If I'm using an aluminum pan or anything other than that hard case hardened pan, or a good cast iron skillet that's got a big layer of coating on it, I'm going to take and add a little water to it, because that will make sure that it will not stick to the bottom. And you saw how it does. It brings all that flavor back up off the bottom and just coats it on to the bacon. Really good bacon that way. Short pieces, easy to handle, and they don't roll up easy. Quick and easy. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. If you have, please hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And there'll be more coming up in this series. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.